What a headshot! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'm going to take you guys through my transfer plan for the upcoming Game Week 6. So Game Week 5 has not even concluded yet. We still have United versus Leicester coming up tonight. But because of the quick turnarounds between Game Week 5 and Game Week 6, just remember, Game Week 6 deadline is going to be on Saturday morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you guys are around the world. But because of the quick turnaround, I'm having to record this transfer plan and then my team selection tomorrow. So Game Week 5 was basically the Haaland captainers versus the Salah captainers. Let me know in the comments down below how many points you guys got on. If you captained Haaland, how many points did you end on? If you captained Salah, did you still manage to get a green arrow like ourselves? But you guys will see that when I review the Game Week 5 team. I'm then going to turn the attention to Game Week 6, talk about my transfer plan, as with 2 free transfers and 0.5 in the bank, we can actually change our formation and make a significant upgrade. So if you guys are interested in that, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So going over the Game Week 5 team review, I'm going to be going over this one quite in depth. In the team selection tomorrow, I'll go over it quite quickly and give you guys the most up-to-date rank. Speaking about rank, if you guys can cast your eyes to the bottom right-hand side, 84 points was the total amount of points we scored in Game Week 5, and considering the fact that we captained Salah, I'm pretty happy with that. So in terms of the Game Week rank, currently after the auto subs, 1.2 million, and that has taken us to basically halve our rank to just under that 1 million mark. So super happy to be within that 1 million rank within the first 5 game weeks. I know it's not the best kind of start to the season, but after Haaland's hat-trick in the 38th minute, I was pretty happy with how this game week turned around. In terms of our total points, 330, and what's most important in this specific video, 2 free transfers and 0.5 in the bank. But as I said, let me know how you guys got on in Game Week 5. The first talking point I'm going to be going over is actually quite an important one. In terms of our bench, the bench itself is not really too important, but the first outfield bench player, Reece James, is going to be an interesting talking point. So if you guys don't know, if you were kind of living under a rock, didn't watch my deadline stream, Reece James is actually not pictured in training on Monday, and there was news that he didn't travel with the team to Southampton on Tuesday as well. That rumor actually turned out to be true. We actually had some confirmation though about it. Some reliable journalists actually came out and said that Reece James was ill, not injured, and therefore would miss the Southampton game. So in the Game Week 5 deadline stream, we had 2 decisions. One, we could take him out for someone like a Lewis Dunk. Thankfully, we didn't do that because he got -1 points. We could also take him to Perisic. Thankfully, we didn't do that as well because he played a full 90 minutes, losing the clean sheet and probably won't start on the weekend against Fulham. So the option that we chose, and I think the correct one as of now, is to just keep Reece James. He wasn't injured, he was just ill, and I had a hope that he would start on the weekend. Now, we have actually had some training videos come out yesterday that he was back in training, so he should be fine for West Ham on the weekend. So as I mentioned, right now, that looks like the right decision to do, as I do still want Reece James for Game Week 6. Another interesting talking point was actually Diallo started in that midfield 3 for Southampton against Chelsea, and therefore at 4.4 he actually looks like a bargain if he continues to play for Southampton. Now yes, I won't really have him off my bench, but it's nice to see that we do have another bench option if one of my starting 11 options don't start. And then finally Archer, annoyingly Archer dropped in price last night and therefore he's going to be 4.4 million. He kind of had one job, he just had to stick on our bench, not drop in price, but he couldn't even do that, and unfortunately currently he's also still injured. And then we have Danny Ward starting tonight against United, not really expecting a clean sheet there, but if he does, I might be slightly annoyed that I didn't actually play him. Going on to our starting 11, and the reason why I might be a little bit disappointed that I didn't start Danny Ward, even though it is against United, is because Ramsdale conceded last night against Aston Villa. So only the 2-point appearance for Ramsdale. Was it a foul? Was it not? Who kind of knows? Some people are saying that he was impeded. Some people are saying that he kind of just ran into Ollie Watkins. Don't exactly know if it was Ollie Watkins, but one Aston Villa player. But at the end of the day, he finished on 2 points in our FPL teams. Now, don't you know what's happening with Arsenal and Ramsdale? Yes, Aston Villa might have been a tougher game, but I don't really think they were particularly attacking here, and that's why it is quite annoying that the clean sheet was lost. Added to that, Ramsdale only got 2 saves, 1 off an extra save point, but I don't think he's got a save point this entire season. Now added on top of this, he actually picked up an injury in that Villa game, and therefore he might actually miss this weekend for Game Week 6. But I'll talk about that a little bit later on. Going on to our backline, I'm going to start off with Trent Alexander-Arnold last night against Newcastle. Isaac taking a very strong debut goal, and therefore that clean sheet was wiped out. Trent was actually relatively quiet in that Newcastle game. Don't exactly know if he was going to be more defensive or just the fact that Liverpool's setup didn't really account for his attacking form. So overall, quite a quiet game for Trent, but after his heroics last week, I'm not too disappointed. Then going on to our only double up for Game Week 5 in terms of the defensive department. Finally, our double up with the Man City defense got us 2 clean sheets. Kyle Walker started the game, which is all I needed him to do. I just needed him to start and get 60 minutes because the Nottingham Forest clean sheet was basically wrapped in. Cancelo actually got some attacking threat, took a lovely goal from outside the box. Now yes, that won't happen every single game week, but at least we're seeing some attacking threat from Cancelo, as over the opening 4 game weeks we saw none of it. But luckily, both these 2 options started, both got a clean sheet. Cancelo got a goal, but it was a little bit weird that Cancelo actually got no bonus points. Then our final defender to go for is going to be none other than Cucurella from Chelsea. Now, I don't really know what's happened with Chelsea this season. They look simply terrible from a defensive department, from an attacking department. Just the whole squad does not look that great. And with Reece James being out injured, Cucurella was our only chance of a clean sheet from Chelsea, and that didn't even happen. Not only that, but they conceded 2 goals. Cucurella got no attacking returns, and therefore it's another 1-point appearance from him since coming into our team. So overall, yes, the defense was carried by the Man City assets, but that's kind of expected. Nottingham Forest at home is simply a clean sheet locked in. We're now going to move on to our midfield department, and the first player, the biggest talking point of Game Week 5, Captain Salah versus Captain Haaland. So as you guys can see on screen, I actually captained Mo Salah. I wanted to captain Haaland, but I was a little bit worried about some potential minutes, and after seeing KDB being rested, it could have actually always been Haaland. But I actually did predict that Haaland would start the fixture, and therefore for me it came down to expected minutes. Thought that Mo Salah would play more minutes, which was actually true. He played the full 90 versus Haaland's, I think, 65 minutes. But unfortunately, or fortunately, he actually got 2 attacking returns. That was going to be 2 assists. So just picture this scenario. 38 minutes have gone, 8 minutes of the Liverpool game. Salah sitting on a 1-pointer. Haaland has just wrapped up his hat-trick against Nottingham Forest. At that current moment, I was super nervous. A 15-point swing from Mo Salah to Haaland predicted for that fixture, but luckily Mo Salah got those 2 attacking returns. Added to that 2 bonus points, finally Salah getting some bonus points, took him to 10 points, and therefore the difference between Salah and Haaland, if you owned both of them, but you captain Mo Salah, was only 7 points. So yes, Haaland definitely was the best option to go for, but as I mentioned, after 38 minutes, if you guys told me that there would be a 7-point difference, I would have taken it every day of the week. Overall in that fixture, I wasn't too impressed with Liverpool's kind of tactics. I think Mo Salah to Firmino for the first goal was pretty strong and probably the best passage of play from them. Another strong passage of play was going to be from Luis Diaz. He was kind of played in behind, rounded Nick Pope, but unfortunately didn't get the finish on the hook finish, and therefore it was skied over the bar into the crowd. So that was a massive chance for Luis Diaz, but he still looked quite lively. He always looks so good going forward, is a massive dribbler, but unfortunately no attacking returns for this fixture. But overall, I'm still quite happy with the Liverpool double up in attack versus the defense, because the Liverpool defense this season doesn't seem to be the same as it usually is. Then moving on to the player that came in for Reece James. The reason why I actually didn't take out Reece James was because I did favour the Andres Pereira fixture, and he managed to get an assist for the own goal of Dunk. So he finished on 6 points, 2 points for the appearance, 3 points for the assist, and then also a bonus point to boot. So if you kind of think about it, Reece James, we basically got a clean sheet from him with the Andres Pereira points, and that's why I was super happy that I kept him and played the Fulham cam. Now Fulham overall are really the surprise package for me of this season. They seem to be in great form, playing great football, and that's why certain Mitrovic could be in our lineups for the transfer plan. But we spoke about Mr. Consistent last week. Unfortunately didn't get any FPL points, but he's back on the train with a double-digit haul. It's Martinelli from Arsenal. So a nice goal and 3 bonus points in that fixture or win over Aston Villa took Martinelli to a special place in my heart, and I'm pretty sure yours in your FPL teams. Just being such a consistent option, can't see him being rested after scoring the winner, and as long as he starts in the starting 11 for most game weeks, I'm going to be super happy with him at that price point. So if you guys don't own him, I would try and bring him into your squads as he's a massive budget midfielder. We're then going to move on to our forward department where Gabriel Jesus ended up scoring 6 points. It was also a captaincy consideration, but I didn't personally favour it. He actually got a goal, but no bonus points if I recall. I think Gabriel Jesus also racked up a yellow card, but I could be wrong on that, and that's why I think he didn't get any bonus points. But still, the fact of the matter is that he's scoring a lot of goals for Arsenal. Arsenal are looking good, and therefore probably stay in my team post that first wildcard even. But now going on to the player and the star performer of Game Week 5, Erling Haaland from Man City with the hat-trick in 38 minutes. Absolutely sensational. He's an absolute robot, an absolute freak of nature at the moment. I just think if he continues this form, I mean, he has scored back-to-back hat-tricks. Don't exactly think he's going to continue that for the rest of the season, but I do think he's going to score a massive amount of points. Now the interesting talking point about Haaland though is that because he played 65 minutes, do you guys think that he'll start against Villa on the weekend? Drop it in the comments down below and we'll talk about it in the transfer plan later on. But I do think Haaland's providing a nice little alternative for a perma-captain here. If you guys remember in the prior seasons, some people are just perma-captain Salah, but I think Haaland could be that perma-captain. You just have to hope that he starts in the Prem. But yo, what's more to say, back-to-back 17 pointers, an absolute massive FPL asset, and if you guys captain him, congratulations. But this is going to wrap up my kind of Game Week 5 team review. I've got 84 points, as you guys can see. Massive green arrow of about 50%. They just hope tonight's fixture against United and Leicester doesn't bring my green arrow down too much. But comment down below how you guys did. Did you get a massive green arrow? I'm especially interested to see if you guys went for Salah. Did you still get a green arrow like myself? Because then I think we have to take that and think it's a good game week. But now going on to our transfer plan, and if you guys do recall from the previous talking point, I have 2 free transfers and 0.5 in the bank. Now the first transfer plan that I want to go over is going to relate to one man, and that's going to be Aaron Ramsdale. So Arteta after the fixture said that Ramsdale picked up, it seems like maybe a hamstring strain, some sort of leg injury, and he was able to continue in that fixture, but he might actually be out of this weekend. So I'm going to monitor the situation there. Hopefully Arteta gives us a positive update in the press conference. They are, however, playing United away, which isn't the best fixture on paper. But the first transfer plan is obviously going to be if Ramsdale's out, if he's going to be missing that fixture. Yes, I could still play Danny Ward, but I don't really favour that Leicester defence, and that's how I might actually ship him out. Now, in terms of a replacement for Ramsdale, the fixtures upcoming, as I mentioned, United away, not the best in the world, but Everton at home and then Brentford away, he could have actually kept a clean sheet in one of those games. So I don't really want to take out Ramsdale, but if I do, there are 3 alternatives that I'm going to go for. The first one's going to be the safest one, and it's going to be Robert Sanchez from Brighton. Now, you guys know the Brighton defense. I mentioned in the Ultimate Guides, some of the best XG conceded in the Prem at the moment. A little bit unlucky against Fulham, but as I mentioned, Fulham are a great team at home, and therefore I'm willing to give that Brighton defense a break. Now, the upcoming fixtures, Leicester at home, Bournemouth away, and then Crystal Palace at home. Not the best fixtures in the world, but I think those opening 2 could definitely be a chance of a clean sheet. And with the way Brighton are defending at the current moment, they might keep a clean sheet against anyone. Now, I guess the only downside here is that Sanchez has had a couple of price rises, so I'm not really getting the most value out of this move, but at the end of the day, up until my first wildcard, I'll just keep the Brighton goalkeeper anyway. So definitely the safest move to go for, and therefore if Ramsdale is out injured, this will probably be the move that I go for. But now going on to an alternative that is slightly cheaper, has had a price rise I do believe, but still a great asset, and currently the highest scoring goalkeeper. It's going to be Henderson from Nottingham Forest. So thanks to a massive penalty save against Harry Kane on the weekend, that's risen him in the rankings of the goalkeepers, but to start off the season, he had some of the best XG kind of saved. Now, the last thing about Nottingham Forest is that after this tough run against the likes of Man City, Liverpool and Arsenal, they actually have some pretty decent fixtures coming up. Bournemouth at home, Leeds away, and then Fulham at home. Now, the only concern about Henderson is obviously the fact that Nottingham Forest are some of the worst XG conceded and are theoretically the worst defense in the Prem, alongside probably Bournemouth. So why would I bring in a goalkeeper that is going to have a bad XG and probably not keep any clean sheets? The fact of the matter is that he has a lot of save points, and because the defense is so bad, he's going to get bonus points and save points as well. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting alternative if I want to go for a cheap alternative to Sanchez, but I do think he can still do quite well over these next couple. Now, the last option to go for is going to be a team that has some increasingly good fixtures. It's going to be Newcastle, and after an impressive performance last night against Liverpool, Nick Pope is on my radar. Fixtures upcoming against Crystal Palace at home, West Ham away, and Bournemouth at home. I can see them keeping clean sheets in at least 2 of those 3. But this also comes down to the fact that, like Brighton, Newcastle's defenses look pretty good, and Nick Pope could be a nice alternative at that price point. But currently, what I would say is if Ramsdale's out, I think I would probably go for Sanchez. So now we've covered the kind of Ramsdale injury, and that transfer might happen, it might not. We might actually have to lock it in if he's going to be out for this weekend. As I mentioned, don't really trust Danny Ward. I'm going to cover another transfer that I could potentially make, but don't really favour. Now, this move has been spoken about throughout the previous game weeks. It's been anticipated with those kind of pep comments about Haaland potentially not starting every single fixture now that the fixture congestion has increased. So obviously that transfer is going to be Haaland out for Harry Kane. Now, in terms of the fixtures, Aston Villa away, Spurs at home, and Wolves away, I consider to be better fixtures than kind of Fulham at home, Man City away, and Leicester at home. Now, I think game week kind of 8 is probably the only game week that I would favour Harry Kane because he has that lovely Leicester fixture. But in terms of that game week 7 fixture, both these 2 teams play each other, and therefore I do favour the more attacking side and the home side of Man City. But right now, I can't really consider transferring Haaland out for Harry Kane after his antics this week. A double hat-trick could be a triple hat-trick if he starts against Aston Villa. That just seems like a move that I wouldn't do. But let's just say we do get news of a potential benching for Haaland. I don't think it's out of the question, but I think I would even take Haaland's last 20 or 30 minutes over Harry Kane. But if you guys do maybe want to captain a Harry Kane in game week 6, that Fulham at home fixture might not be as bad on paper, even though Fulham have been playing pretty well, I'd maybe consider doing this move only for captaincy. But I kind of just wanted to talk about this because I think it's going to be on everyone's mind. Should you take out Haaland after playing 65 minutes and with the Champions League quickly approaching? I personally wouldn't, but I can see why you would want to do it if you want to captain Harry Kane. But now that we've spoken about the Aaron Ramsdale injury, and I do think if he is injured, I'll be forced into doing that transfer, and then what I'll probably do is bank the second transfer. And then in terms of the Haaland to Harry Kane transfer, probably won't do that one as well. So let's now talk about a different transfer plan. So let's just say that Ramsdale is going to be fit for game week 6. We want to keep him in our squad, even though he has United away. I can see Arsenal keeping a clean sheet with 2 free transfers and 0.5 in the bank. We actually could do a formational change. What I'm saying there is that you guys saw on screen, if Reece James is back from injury, our natural formation is a 5-3-2. But now let's switch it up and go for an extra midfielder, or maybe an extra forward. So I'm going to start off with the kind of forward rotation first. Let's take out Diallo at 4.4 and Kyle Walker. I think he's currently 5.1, but I am slightly concerned about some potential rotation. So obviously with Diallo at 4.4, even though he has been starting, he's an easy transfer out as I would want to keep Andreas Pereira. Kyle Walker on the other hand though is an interesting talking point because I don't exactly know if he's worth a transfer out. I thought he might be rotating against Nottingham Forest. He wasn't. He played a full 90 minutes. Will that mean that he gets rested against Aston Villa? Who kind of knows? I don't exactly think he's playing the most kind of fitness intense position at that inverted right back. And therefore he might actually be one of the most nailed players in that Man City defense. but I do think he kind of has a ceiling of 6 points, won't probably get any bonus points attacking returns, and therefore if I do consider an option that could get more than 6 points, it might be worth doing. So you guys can let me know in the comments down below, do you think Kyle Walker starts against Aston Villa? I personally think that he probably will, even though he has the Champions League next midweek. But taking out these two assets, I mentioned kind of a formational switch up. We're going to downgrade the defender, upgrade the midfielder, and our midfielder of choice currently is going to be Gross from Brighton. So know what you're thinking, kind of at a massive price rise, currently 5.9 million, and therefore I can exactly actually afford these moves, so I might have to do them sooner or later. The nice thing about Brighton is I've mentioned already with Sanchez, lovely fixtures coming up. I think I favour them from an attacking to a defensive point of view, and that's why Gross could be a nice alternative. Leicester at home, Bournemouth away, and then Crystal Palace at home are great fixtures, maybe not the Crystal Palace one though. Then in order to afford that, we're going to go for Nathan Patterson from Everton. He comes in with the bad fixtures, Liverpool at home, Arsenal away, and then finally West Ham at home. But at 4.0 million, I'm just going to simply keep him on my bench. So this will see us kind of go from a 5-3-2 to going for a 4-4-2 with the upgrade to Gross. Now I do actually like this move. I think that Gross up until the first wildcard, if we do use it Game Week 8, Game Week 9, has great fixtures on paper. And even though he didn't perform in Game Week 5, I still do like his position. So I've already spoken about the midfield upgrade. Let's go over a forward upgrade as there's so many options in that forward department and we might actually look to rotate that in the future game weeks. So let's just say that we want to upgrade our forward department. Unfortunately, the forwards that I want are slightly more expensive and therefore would have to downgrade another Man City defender in Cancelo. Now before Game Week 5, everyone was talking about Cancelo. His XG involvement, his XG, his XA have been reduced this season compared to last season. So some people are actually considering taking him out as he wasn't worth that 7.0 price tag. If he's not going to get forward, get you attacking returns, I don't think he's worth it just for clean sheets. So let's just say we want to take out Cancelo. I know it's absolute madness after his goal in Game Week 5, but let's just say we want to take him out. Therefore, we also take out Archer from Aston Villa. Now, I already mentioned that Archer dropped in price, which is super annoying, but I guess we have to take it on the chin. But at least with the Cancelo downgrade, we can easily afford our options. So who would those options be? Well, right now, I could afford to actually go for two starting options. It's going to be Ivan Toney and then also Lewis Dunk. So I know that Dunk scored an own goal, but hopefully that's the own goals for the season out the window. And I just wanted to show Lewis Dunk here to show you how much money I have in the bank, but we could always go for a cheaper defender on our bench. I don't exactly know if I would go for two outfield players because then I'm going to have a benching headache probably every single game week. And that's why I just showed you Lewis Dunk to show you how much money I have in the bank. But the important option, definitely the one that I would go for, is going to be Ivan Toney from Brentford. Leeds at home up next and then Southampton away. And then unfortunately Arsenal at home, which I don't think is a great fixture. But definitely Leeds at home and Southampton away are the two fixtures I would target. And with the wildcard quickly approaching, this might be one of those punts to go for. So these two transfers will see us go from a 5-3-2 to going to a 4-3-3, a classic FIFA formation. But as I mentioned, with those two free transfers, a formational change could be on the cards because of the wildcard fastly approaching. I want to take one or two punts. You guys can let me know which transfer you guys prefer in the comments down below. Obviously, if Ramsdale's out injured, we have to move him out because I don't really trust the Leicester defense. But we also could play Danny Ward and go for a formational change with one of these two last transfers. So as I said, let me know in the comments down below what you guys would do. But this is the best wrap up of the guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like if you did and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I will see you guys for the team selection tomorrow, so make sure that you have those notifications on for YouTube, Twitter, and if you're in my Discord, the Discord server. But I'm your sign off. It's been Dayvy FPL and I'm out. Cheers, bye.